Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell in the upper right-hand corner. Follow me on all forms of social media. Check me out at thatdrummerguy.com. And enjoy the following presentation. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you guys very much for taking the time to be able to do this interview.
Thank you very much. No problem. Thank you. No problem.
Well, of course, we're here to talk about the self-titled album from Fall to Cipher, which is going to be coming out the 11th of May through Nuclear Blast. I've gotten the chance to be able to check this album out over the last few weeks, and I really love what you guys have done with this album. I really love this style. The songwriting just sounds so fresh and so inspired. The album, just from start to finish, is just incredible, and I really love the fact that I'm able to talk to you guys about this album.
Cool, we're honored. Awesome, thank you.
We are.
Thank you very much.
Oh, not a problem. So for anyone that's not familiar, how did this whole band come together?
Yeah, it started out as a solo project. I wanted to try to create an album for myself, and I had to get someone to sing on the album. So I went out for auditioning and had a few people trying out for vocals. And the last one, obviously, is Linda. And it was quite a fun experience because for all the other guys, it took like maybe a few hours to do the auditioning. But when Linda came inside my door, it took like 15 minutes or something like that. And yeah, it was that. So that's how Linda and I met. And after that, I felt that it was quite boring to do a solo album because at that point I started to feel I wanted to do something more with it. At first, it was a hassle to be in a band, but at that point, it struck me this could be something really fun. So Linda and I started Follow the Cipher together.
So with that, how much did the initial musical idea change from having a solo project to having a full-fledged band?
It changed a lot because Linda and I wrote Winterfall as the first song on the album, and that was back in 2014. And the recording that you hear from in this album is from back in 2014. So it's not been re-recorded or anything like that. But if you listen to the latest song, when Viktor came along to write half of the album, the sound has changed a little bit. So I think that's why the album sounds a little bit. Winterfall has more like an 80s influence, and for let's say Starlight, or it has a more gentle vibe to it with the intro. What do you call it? The intro drums and the guitars and everything like that. So yeah, it has been a developing process.
And that's going to be a great feeling now. I mean, with just a little under a month now from the full release of the album. I mean, with having songs all of that time, I mean, it's going to be a great feeling to finally get those songs out.
Yeah, it will be awesome to get this album out. We are super nervous, but it's like a happy feeling. It's like a Christmas day. What will the people think of it and stuff like that? And to get this album released by a label like Nuclear Blast is like a tremendously big dream.
Yeah, and that is so great to see, like a label like Nuclear Blast being able to find how great you guys are and willing to be able to promote you guys as much as they are. I mean, it's so great to see them taking a chance on you. And from what I've seen from reviews so far and comments online, I mean, it seems like people are taken to this band just like I am. They're really appreciating it.
Yeah, that's fun too. It is very surprising. It is a trip that we didn't expect. We have went from 0 to 100 in 1 second. So and we are stunned by the engagement Nuclear Blast gives our band and everything, and they really, we feel that we got their full support every day, and it's incredible. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a really good label. We haven't been signed by another label before, but I personally didn't thought that it would be like this to be signed by a label, because they are like a family. It's like a family feeling all over, because they're so gentle.
They're so nice people.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, exactly.
They give newcomers a chance, because
Yeah, and that's so important too. I mean, of course, with all the legacy acts that are a part of the label, I mean, it's so important to be able to have new blood into the label as well, and just get things so very well rounded. And that's the great thing about Nuclear Blast, because with every style of rock and metal that you're looking for, there's bound to be a band that's going to fit in so well. And it's great to see something like Follow the Cipher being able to fill a void like that with Nuclear Blast.
Yeah, I think so. I think we know a lot of bands, of course, who doesn't? Nearly every single band in Nuclear Blast everybody knows about in some way, and I think we are standing out a little bit music-wise, and we are happy that they want to try this out and see potential in it. But and it's quite a wide diversity of the genres and bands in Nuclear Blast at this time, and I think it's real fun. Yeah.
So with that, I mean, of course, along with me, you guys have been able to do a lot of press for the album and everything that's going to be going on in the future. What has been the reception that you've heard so far for the album?
I think only good. I would say. Ken, what do you think?
Yeah, I tend to read a lot. Yeah, but it depends where you look at. YouTube is always YouTube, so there's a lot of shit comments come, and a lot of good ones as well. So I tried not to read YouTube comments that much, but if we read the reviews and a lot of interviewers like you we get a really good feedback and great response, and it feeds our motivation to continue and want to do it better, and want to it drives us a little bit. It drives us very very much. But I believe overall it's been a good response.
Yeah, really good.
I'm glad to hear that too, because this is an album and a band that really does deserve that positive feedback and that motivation to be able to keep going, because it, like I said in the beginning, it's just like, this feels so fresh and so inspired. I mean, it's great to be able to see something like this taking off with such a great label, with such great songs, and I imagine it's really hard to be able to decide like what songs are going to be able to be shown off ahead of time as singles to see what the representation is going to be for the album and stuff like that. But I'm glad to see that everything worked out the way that it should, and within less than a month, people are finally going to be able to check out this full album worldwide and really appreciate what you guys are all about.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you so much. We are humble people, and it feels like every time we hear something like that, I be more humble. It's like, oh, thank you so much.
Well, I'm glad to be of service when it comes to that. I mean, like I do love supporting great bands, and that's what I'm hearing with this. I mean, I can just, even though it's taken a few years, to really like form everything that's going on with this band, finding the right label, what songs are going to be on there, the amazing cover that's at the end of the album, which is so awesome to be able to hear that as well. I mean, it's just like, it took a few years, but it's great to see how everything flowed together the way that it is, and it's just like, I can tell the future is just going to be getting bigger and better from here on out.
Oh, you think? That's great to hear. Yeah, it's people like you who answer the other question you asked us, what the audience think about the album. It feels great. Thank you.
Oh, not a problem. So, with that, kind of like what I alluded to, it is hard, especially for a first album like this, to decide what songs are going to be shown off first as singles. Like, how hard was it to decide what songs you wanted to show off ahead of time?
Yeah, The Rising was a given one because it was the first song that we felt that, I believe, Linda, it was at that time when it was it just you and me in the band at that time when The Rising came about?
Yeah, it was you and me. Yeah,
I think so. And that song changed a little bit the sound of where we were heading. And I love the song "The Rising" when we made that song, yeah, I forgot the question. Yeah, if it was hard to decide, yeah, The Rising was given at that point. And besides that, the singles, Valkyria, for example, was one of two songs on the album that Viktor and I wrote together. And we came together with because both Viktor and I are two songwriters in the band. So we have roughly written half of the album each. But Valkyria and Starlight was two of the songs that Viktor and I wrote together. And we felt a little bit, I think, everyone in the band, that Valkyria represented the Follow the Cipher pretty well, in combination with The Rising as the first song. So as for those two songs as singles, it was quite obvious choices, I think. I don't know what you think, guys, about that, but that's my...
Yeah. I mean, I know we always talked about that Valkyria is like a sister song to The Rising, and it also has all the elements, I think, of what is Follow the Cipher, and it was a good song to represent as a single.
Yeah, and just listening to it from the fan perspective, I mean, those two songs really did stick out to me as well, and it's great to see that those two songs really do show off what the band is capable of when the full band is getting their spin onto the songs, with the songwriters getting involved and really forming what the band is going to be sounding like. And that's going to be very excited to see what's going to be happening with the next release as well once that time comes around, because if this is what you guys are doing when you're co-writing, I'm very excited to see what's going to be happening the more that you guys are getting together and writing songs.
Yeah, that's the thing, because Viktor and I just feel at this point, just right now, we have found what we are doing, because it has been a trip and a journey to develop this and to find what we are doing. So it has been a little bit of trial and error to make it this far and to complete this album. But for the next album, I think that Viktor and I have a really clear image of what we are going to do and how we are going to do it. So I'm really hyped for the second album as well. It's really early to speak about it, but
Me too.
And, along with that as well, I mean, with you guys getting more familiar with each other when it comes into the songwriting and, of course, life in general, being in a band, you guys were also able to get some really awesome guest spots on this album as well. How did that all come together?
Yeah, I don't remember how the idea came up, but I believe Ken wanted to write a song with a lot of guest singers. Was it like that?
That was a plan. I wanted to write a song that we could invite. We know a lot of people that sing and that play in bands. Some smaller, some bigger bands. And I thought, hey man, wouldn't it be cool to take the opportunity to invite everyone that you like to invite them to sing on one single song. And from that, Viktor and I came about and started to write Starlight. The first song.
Actually, the first song we wrote together, and it was a pretty hard one to write, because we wanted all the guest singers to have their own spotlight, not bigger or smaller than anyone else, and that was a big challenge. I remember a fun challenge, but a really big one.
And also a challenge to write music together.
Exactly. That was actually the first time I co-write a song with anybody, and for me it was super hard. but Ken is pretty awesome when it comes to writing music, because he is very gentle. He's not a hard man to work with. Smart, and gives the space you need to express your ID.
Are you mocking me now, Viktor?
No, I'm serious.
You know, it's funny. I was actually going to say that as well, too. I mean, a lot of people outside of music may not realize it, but it is so important for a full lineup. I mean, whether you're getting guest spots or it's just the core band, making sure that everyone is on the same page, everyone's wanting to work towards the same goal and getting along at the same time as well. And it's great to see this atmosphere. I mean, at least between the three of you, it's great to see that atmosphere going on, that you guys do have this great sense of fun that's going on there. I mean, you enjoy being in a band together, you enjoy writing songs together like this, being able to talk about the album. I imagine with upcoming live shows and then working on the next release and everything like that, that'd be able to just get bigger and better from here on out. And it's just great to be able to see that in this stage.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think we all have been hard-working musicians for all our lives, and this is like it's like our time now, and it feels pretty great. It's like this super fun adventure. It's like getting on the train with Harry Potter to Hogswell, or what do you call it? Oh, Hogsworth. Yeah, it's magical, and I believe that makes everybody a little excited.
Yeah, we are great friends, everybody in the band, and of course, like every band out there, there's some harder times, and mostly we have a fantastic time. But it's no different than any other band, I believe. But I think that we care about each other very much in the band, and we like to hang out. And we live spread apart in Sweden, so every opportunity we get, we have a great time, and we enjoy what we do.
So, in speaking of that, what is going to be next for the band after the release of the album?
We're going to do 2 shows this summer. The first one is the 2nd June in Czech Republic on Metal Fest, and the second show is I think it's the 21st June. On Grass Pop in Belgium, and then we will see. I hope for a tour. That's the plans right now.
Yeah, we'll see. We're waiting for the right opportunity to go on tour. We are really hyped about going on tour, but we want to wait for the right opportunity and.
And we are in this in a little special place, I think, too, because we haven't released any music yet. Like in Sweden, there's not many people knowing about us, I think, because we haven't played like a show here yet, because we want to release our album. So after the release, I think there will be plenty of shows. So it's to find out what happens.
Yeah,
correction, we have made 2 gigs in Sweden.
Yeah, we have, exactly. Yeah, we have. Yeah. It didn't feel like Sweden because there were so many people loving us. That's not Sweden.
It's awesome to see that that's already being in the works as well. I mean, with a couple shows that are going to be coming up pretty soon, and the idea of being able to get on the right tour and being able to do the right shows. I mean, I'm glad to see that you guys are taking that right approach, making sure that everything's going to be the way that you want the band to go in.
Yeah, go on, Linda.
As Vico said before, I think you said something about that we are in this age. We're not 20 years old and hyped and naive and everything. We have lived in many years already, and we have struggled and everything. And I think that that is a good thing for us, at least as for me, is to be more grown up in this. Because if I was 20, I had jumped on everything because I want to play, I want to be on everything. It's perfect now that, you think twice often.
Yeah, and It's just like making sure that, in this position that you are right now, I mean, when you got the backing of like Nuclear Blast, you're getting this great positive reception from what I've seen online and what I've been saying as well. And, it's great to see that you guys are taking this approach, just like if you get the right opportunity to tour, go on that. And, with these upcoming shows as well, it's going to be a great way to see where the band can improve, the way that the audience is going to be responding to you guys. I mean, I really like this approach. I mean, even though, just like you said, it's just like when you're like 20 years old, you want to jump on every single tour that you can, just to get that live experience. It's also good to know when to play and making sure that you do everything the right way.
Yeah, of course, it is, because we have only done 3 shows as of this point, and I believe we have been somewhat selective in what we have taken upon ourselves to do, and as of 3 gigs in our bags, we are working with our live show a lot, and we are trying to get warm in our clothes and try to figure out where our spot on the stage is, and how we make Follow the Cipher on the stage. So also developing. And of course, playing at Grasspop Metal Fest is it's super huge, and it's very it's quite a jump from playing at your local pub and playing on Grasspop. So it's a big responsibility that you take upon yourself, and it will be really exciting. But it is very new for us, and but we are trying our best, and we are developing right now. So that's a fact. We are.
Oh, so cool to hear that. So in speaking of that, of course, with these shows are coming up, and obviously with the practice that goes into it, deciding what songs are going to be playing live, etc. What should people expect from a show from Follow the Cipher?
Yeah, you should expect more than just playing guitar and drums and singing and bass. We are trying to do a little more of a show than just playing on stage. For example, we have two other people on stage that are doing stuff with us on stage to enhance the experience a little bit. And also we are trying to go all in with our visual approach a little bit, and this is also developing, and we will do as much as we can, and I think we will go as much as all in we can on the live set. But it's more than just an ordinary guitar, bass, and drums kind of thing. So
yeah, and I think if you look at our clothes we have on stage, it's for the purpose that we want to enhance the music. We want to expand the experience of the people that listen to the music, and that I think we also want to do with our show. But as Ken say, we are still in the developing side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really important too. I mean, with some bands, obviously it works out great if they just have their instruments out there and they just play their songs and they just make a normal set like that. But I'm glad to see with you guys, with what the music really calls for, that the production side of what's going on there. Whether it's what you're wearing on stage, how you're going to be presenting the songs, the visuals, everything that's going with it. I'm glad to see that you guys are taking the time to make sure that the live show is just going to be as much fun to enjoy as it is listening to the album.
Yeah.
Okay, before I sat here and I didn't say anything because it might sound a little bit stupid, but I think it's like this, that some bands they fit better in a pub space or a smaller stage like hardcore music or stuff like that. But I would like to say that I think Follow the Cipher is a band that needs this big stage, because we want to give the audience this big production, and I think to get the best Follow the Cipher feeling is to go on when we play on a real big show, because we will give them all.
But I get what you're saying, Viktor, because it's hard to bring our production at this. It's hard to deliver the experience we want to deliver in for example, a little pub stage or something like that. That wouldn't really work. It would be really weird, I think.
We would still do a great show for the audience, of course. But
I think that we have, in this case, we have painted ourselves in a little corner in some because if we are at this point dependent on having the right resources to deliver our production. But that may change as well. We will be flexible in the future.
We have 2 albums, a pub album and a great bigger album.
Oh, awesome. Well, actually, I think that's a fantastic note to end on. Thank you guys so very much once again for taking the time to be able to talk to me about everything that's going on with Follow the Cipher, including the self-titled album, which is coming out next month through Nuclear Blast. Just like I've been gushing about throughout this entire album, I really love what you guys are doing with this album. I love the sound that's being created. I'm very excited to see what the future is going to be for you guys as well, as far as like the live shows, the presentation, and of course the next album following this as well, because if this is what you guys are capable of, since 4 years since the inception of the band and everything that's come with that, I know the next album is going to be even better than this one, and I love this album as well, and I'm very excited to see where you guys go from here on out.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That means the world to us.
Oh, not a problem. Before we wrap things up, is there anything else you'd like to mention that I hadn't brought up yet?
We really would like to play in the US, that's for sure.
That was something good,
I'm longing.